My entitled brother threw a massive fit, just because he was mad I bought a house. Yeah, I'm aware of several similar stories involving entitled family members wanting houses they have no claim to. But I guess this shit really happens. And it's no picnic when it does. I suddenly became a homeowner some time ago because friend of mine's grandfather was moving to Florida. And his house was ripe for picking. I knew the old man well. R.I.P. He passed a few months later from a sudden stroke. Anyway, he offered the house and property to me for $200K. I practically ran to the bank to apply for the loan. The house is a manufactured home from the 80s, but it was remodeled repeatedly by the former owner and has a separate garage building. The home and property could have gone for more, but he offered the house to me because he knew I'd take care of it. I had $30K saved that made a good down payment, and I was happy to leave my apartment. I'd wanted to eventually move out of there after what my cheating ex did anyway. But that's a story for another time. As for my brother, well, he went bonkers when he found out I bought a house. He had this repeated history of copycatting me for the past decade. But there was no way in hell he could copycat buying a house with his terrible credit and inconsistent income. And he got in an argument with me over how I was just trying to make him look bad by doing something he couldn't. No, I just wanted a damn house. And the price was too good to refuse. Then he told me I should have turned it down because he had no good reason. I could practically see his screws getting looser with every dumbass excuse he made as to why I shouldn't have done it. But I pointed out all those excuses were just because I did something he currently can't. And when I bought the house, it had nothing to do with him. I just wanted to be a home owner for the security and extra space. I finally don't have to store my camper at my parents' house. And I have a garage that I can store stuff and tinker in. I bought a camping cot, he bought a camping cot, went to the gym, he went to the gym, bought good booze, he bought good booze or stole it from me. I bought a new TV, B bought a new TV, I bought a truck, he bought a truck, I bought a camper, he bought a camper, I bought a used portable DVD player, he bought a used portable DVD player, I went camping in a specific place, he went camping in that specific place, I bought a house, he. 404 error. Insert tea kettle noises and Benny Hill chase. He also acted like a complete child toward me when he built his mini-ram thing. He actually confronted me and said it was cooler than my boring Tundra, because it was something original. I swear, he did the dumbest mods to that vehicle, like putting twist studs in the suspension coils to raise the ride height. Well, after weeks of openly fuming about me being a home owner, my brother suddenly acted like he had another brilliant idea. He wanted to move in with me. I laughed at him. Then he ended up demanding I rent one of my rooms to him. And for only $200 a month, utilities included, because he shouldn't have to pay any more than that since we're family. He flipped his lid when I said fuck no. Then he got our parents involved again. Only this time they actually sided with him at first, though it was mainly our mother. She and my brother showed up demanding I let my brother move in. And my brother had a shit-eating grin on his face that I could tell he was thinking he was getting his way thanks to Mommy Dearest. I said fucking oh to both their faces, and my mother cried that I was using foul language to her and being an ass when I had the space now. I called my dad, and he told my mom that he'd warned her I wouldn't do it, and to leave me the hell alone. Mom whined my brother was living out of his camper next to a shabby house he was renting space from. I said that wasn't my problem to fix. And my brother has proven countless times that he cannot be trusted. My brother was fuming to the point of being red with veins popping out. My mom tried one more time to convince me with tears, and that just made me angrier. I went on a rant that was something like this. Bro can't buy a house, so he wanted to invade mine. I refused to ever live with my brother again. I would sooner live in the woods without electricity than with him. He's intentionally irritating as all hell. And if I had him as a roommate, I just knew he'd steal my booze, take my stuff, and invade my privacy nonstop. Not fucking happening, no matter how many tears Mom tries using on me. My mom broke down and finally conceded she'd never convince me after that rant. And she had to take my brother by the hand and leave with him because he initially refused to go and kept begging her to turn back and make me let him move in. And then I yelled to him that it was a laugh that he called me a mama's boy before, because he'd become exactly that. And this was just like the time he tried to get our mother to make me trade vehicles with him because he felt ashamed to be driving a minivan. He yanked away from Mom, then told me to go fuck myself and the horse I rode in on. I laughed and pointed out I didn't ride in on anything, because I was already home. But his rattlekin horse was waiting for him in the driveway. He flipped his lid again, and looked like his head was going to explode. But Mom got in front of him, and told him to just go. Then he drove off in his rattlekin Silverado without her. He'd driven her there, and then I had to take her home. While taking her home, I made things very clear with my mother over why I could never trust my brother again. And his life was not my burden to bear. And then told her how little my brother was offering for rent anyway, which he'd conveniently not told her. Then I later rented that same room to one of my best friends for $600 a month, and he pays for utilities. The other 2 rooms are my bedroom and a home office. There's an extra room in the separate garage too. So my mother tried to make me let my brother live in the garage instead. There's enough room in its storage room for a bedroom. Again I said fuck no. And that's since been turned into another friend's rented room with a bit of a plywood remodel. Yeah, I kinda rented both the spare bedroom and garage room out to friends out of spite. But I wasn't letting my brother live with me in any capacity. My brother later ended up having a complete meltdown in front of our parents over how he's the older brother. He should be the one who owns a house first. He's supposed to be successful, and I'm supposed to be the big loser in his shadow. Our dad poked him with his cane and told him that's not how life works, and they had a big argument. They told him to get out and not come back until he's cooled off and learned that he's just being a pointlessly jealous asshole. The next part 1 post, my brother did the dumbest thing of all. Edit. I came home late to over 600 comments and still more pouring in. Far too many for me to answer, so I'll clear some things up here. Yes, I am no contact with my brother. And he's NC with the rest of the family as well. I do have cameras inside and outside my home, and a dash cam too. My brother knows this, and has stayed the fuck away since he left town. I'm told I'm an asshole too. Not arguing that because it's true. I'm not exactly the nicest guy, but have someone like my brother in your life and see how peachy you turn out. Some have mentioned to having siblings just like my brother. Sadly, I know very well people like him are increasingly common these days. My dad said a number of times that my brother probably would have ended up dead in an alley if he lived here 50 years ago with the way he behaves. As for our ages, I'm 30, and my brother is 32. I have not given my parents a spare key to my house. One is with a friend, and another is very cleverly hidden. My house is a manufactured home, but it's not in a trailer park, and has been significantly modified with new siding and a new roof, and has a separate garage building. The previous owner was a former general contractor, and he loved to build and repair. And yes, I do have good insurance. I keep seeing comments about a clock radio. Pardon me for not getting the reference, but I do own a digital alarm clock that has a built-in CD player. Currently plays Tina Turner's Proud Mary to wake me up. My brother and I were raised pretty evenly. He was always a jerk, but went full asshole after moving out. But our mother didn't favor him. She chewed him out plenty, and she didn't normally side with his stupidity. She just wanted him to live in a better place than in a camper next to a house filled with potheads. Addition, my brother willingly moved into that camper. He was renting half a room in that house of potheads. Then convinced the landlord to let him live in his camper on the property for the same price instead. And he bragged about his camper a lot, which he has a full gaming center in, complete with PlayStation. He only wanted to invade my house to piss me off and make his cost of living even lower. He also doesn't like camping nearly as much as me. He mainly liked just pissing me off by following me. He loved to make me miserable. In fact, he felt entitled to make me miserable. That's the kind of person he is. Do I have a restraining order against my brother? Not really. Just didn't bother. Because even if I did, it'd only be for like a year. And my brother wouldn't let something like that stop him if he was truly determined anyway. Comment 1. Don't forget trying to keep up with the Joneses and on-upmanship since he wants same things you have plus show what he gets in vastly superior/better, even though majority of what you have is inexpensive and are close to nothing anyway. And few things that is expensive such as your house, he legit tries to steal, take and or force you to share because it out of his price range/never can afford it ever. Thus he can't come out on top and no longer keep up with you. Comment 2. I'd normally have a hard time believing any of this, but we all have that one sibling. My sister makes so much money but fritters it away on parties and clothes meant to keep up with her millionaire friends while she lives in a trashed, tiny apartment. She could easily buy a house, but she once told my parents to build a studio over their garage. She and her husband could live there for free, of course, and when they had kids, they could move into the main house, also for free, and my parents and their 2 teenagers still living at home could move into the studio. She couldn't see a problem with this suggestion, especially since my dad could do all of the upkeep, her husband is useless and won't even mow a lawn, and she wouldn't have to pay for child care, as my mother could watch the kids, for free, all day. Whenever my sister gets like this, my mother will just shrug and say how glad she is that she won't be around when the will is read, and my sister learns she isn't getting my parents' house or any part of it. Comment 3. My brother is the golden child. He could do no wrong growing up and got everything he wanted. He turned out the way you'd expect, entitled, needy, expecting everything to go his way. Last I heard, he is still a high school dropout who is unemployed, as he insists on being the boss and can't work for anyone. He is divorced, terrible credit, no real job history or training to build off of, and no retirement to look forward to.